got an interesting topic to talk about today.
Hey, we're back.
Mashup TV is a production. Okay.
We're so excited today that we have our special guest.
I'm going to say what I got to say. I'm going to say it with my chest. Hey. Welcome to another episode of Mashup TV. It is Jerry here, and I am joined today with Cory Roroya, one of our village keepers and the head of Holy House. Hey, Cory.
Hello.
How you feeling today? This beautiful Sunday.
It's Sunday. The sun was out. I went outside. I enjoyed the sunshine. I got too hot, and then I came back inside. I just want to know why we're at 90 degrees in September. Global warming is real.
It is for real. It is for real. But, you know, as a person who really, really enjoys the summer, I was super glad to be out today. I had a different shirt on before this, and my titties were out, and I was really enjoying just having the sun hit my titties with a little ice cream.
So, I love it. Free dips.
Yeah. It was great. I am so excited about this week. We are doing some amazing stuff this week in which we're on live to talk about. We're talking about the Pleasure Mashup week, which is something that you came up with. And, you know, it is a continuation of this work that you've been doing for many years. So for the people who don't know you, who aren't familiar with you, who've kind of been watching Mashup and stuff, can you give us a brief introduction of yourself and tell us a little bit about the work that you do kind of around sex education and kink education, and kind of how you came up, why you do this work?
Yeah, so my name is Cory Roroya. I operate the page Holistic Healing, but specifically Holy House, and that's spelled Heaux. So big emphasis on ho because we support all the hoes here. And I created Holy House when I was doing HIV care years ago as an early intervention service specialist, and I realized there was a gap for Black cisgendered women around sexuality, shame, and stigma. So a lot of Black women who had contracted HIV talked about their lives and their stories, and there was just a lot of heartache there, as well as stigma and shame. And it helped me realize the disparity with purity culture. And that's where the holy came from, because there was a lot of religious context of us living here in the South. And so being in Tennessee, there was heavy religious connotations of what is acceptable and what's not acceptable. And I would have to go through the Bible and be like, no, sexuality is holy too. And the Bible endorses sexuality. There's a whole chapter of it called biblical erotica, but you call it, the Songs of Solomon. So, really just dismantling a lot of sexual stigma. And then taking my LACE model, which is liberated, aware, connected, and educated, and taking that framework to help people look at sex positivity as a form of harm reduction. Because when you feel good about your body and you feel good about what you're doing, you think about it in a different way that helps you navigate resources in the community. That's where we started.
Yeah, I love that. And I honestly haven't told you this before, but I think my first introduction to you and your Holy House work, before I even really knew you for real or knew that you were attached to Holy House, it was a Soho House. It was the show that you all had did, the Soho House. And I remember I caught part of it, and I think Tangela was a part of it from Memphis, and that was my first time being introduced to Tangela, and I was just I just remember seeing it. I was just oh my God, my mind was blown by that whole showcase. And I was like, ooh. And look, years later, we're now working together.
Divine intervention.
Yes, it is. So you serve as a board member or village keeper for Mashup. And we are so happy that you have now started doing this Holy House work under Mashup, which we're super excited about, and have started this series called Pleasure Mashup. Can you tell us a little bit more about what Pleasure Mashup is?
Yeah, so Pleasure Mashup started up as like I was thinking about the work that I do and the work that Mashup does. And Mashup is like, the word mashup. It is a configuration of all the things mashed up together to help people look at their whole selves. And a part of that holistic healing that I wanted to be a part of was pleasure. And how can we look at pleasure in new ways, new defined ways? Again, going back to that lace model of like liberation, because pleasure can be sexual and it can be non sexual. And I really wanted to help our community, particularly like Black folks in general, and not just women, not just men, not just non binary folks, not just trans folks, like Black folks as a community, really tap into pleasure so that we can find ways of like what feels good to our bodies versus what doesn't feel good to our bodies, sexual and non-sexual. And I wanted to offer a community-based like sex education, kink education, because so many people are now moving into kink spaces, but they're moving in unethical ways that cause harm more than pleasure. And I ain't gonna lie, some of this stuff be expensive. And to be in kink life is not to be cheap. And I didn't want finances to be a barrier to education. And I was grateful for you and Brian to say yes to offer low cost donation based or free classes so that if people wanted the opportunity to learn, they could. And so I've been coordinating with people throughout the community who have different specialities and like techniques so that people can learn peer to peer, community to community at a low or free cost.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's like so exciting, which is interesting because like you wouldn't think that it would cost so much money or would be so many barriers to like just exploring yourself. Which is one of the things I think is messed up about the type of environment that we are in, where it's like in order to experience different forms of pleasure, we have monetized like so many things. And like create these barriers just for like people just to express themselves. And so everybody deserves to express themselves. Everybody deserves to like experience pleasure. Everyone deserves to work out whatever trauma or kinks they have in a safe space. But I feel like we could like talk a little bit more about like the importance of like kink and how like sometimes it can be healing. Can you like, say a little bit about that?
Yeah, so like in my email signatures and a lot of the work that I do, I put that sexuality and sexual liberation should be seen as intersectional to any social justice cause because it dictates how people will seek, maintain, and receive their personal care. And I base a lot of that off of the circles of sexuality, which means there are 5 different components in which that we engage as individuals and show up sexually. And how I perceive myself, how the world perceives me, how other people perceive me, not just on a global context, but like the person in front of me, all dictates how we show up in a sexual experience. And then if I go to the clinic or if I go to the doctor and I express my desires of what I'm engaging in sexually, that will dictate what type of medical care I get or don't get, or what type of services I get or don't get. And I think like when I really started thinking about, again, going back to my roots of like EIS, early intervention service specialists, and like HIV education and prevention, like this is very important work. And throughout the years, like I've been someone who's engaged in kink privately, but then it wasn't public until Holy House resurrected. And for me, I was like, I can't gatekeep kink in a certain manner because kink has such amazing frameworks around safety, consent, mutual respect, that it's like if we take these principles and apply it to so many parts of our lives, that if I can tell somebody in the bedroom what you will or will not do to me, what you can and cannot do to me, and then I have the autonomy to feel powerful in that moment, I can take that same feeling outside of the bedroom, and I can tell my boss what they will or will not do, my boundaries, and stand firm on those things, or any other person out in the main world. And so I just really saw a great opportunity to merge kink life with public education as well as public health. Because when you think about it, how many times when somebody says, don't do this, then you go run and do it. But when you give the options of these are things that you can do, and there's a buffet, people are like, oh, okay, so I can take a little bit of this, get a little bit of green beans, get a little bit of mashed potatoes, get a big old chunk of meatloaf, and then I can create the experience I want versus being told it's this or that.
Yeah. Yeah.
More options lead to more healthier outcomes, and kink is an avenue to allow more options. And we can go deeper into the healing modalities of that if you like as well.
Let's keep it light, because
Okay,
I feel like yeah, like I want people. We got so much to talk about. Like I feel like there's.
Let's not throw it all at once.
We don't gotta do it all at once. We just wanted to give people a little taste. So yes. So this week we got a lot of stuff happening. Like we are literally having classes from Monday to Friday. And it's a bunch of fun things. If you all have not seen the calendar, please go look on our social media, go look on our website. You go on Eventbrite, you can find out all the things that's happening for Pleasure Mashup Week. Most of the classes are donation based. We ask people to donate at least $10, but come out. We want people to come out and experience this. So let's get into it. What's happening this week, Cory?
So first on Monday, we have Flirtology 101, which is the art of playful connection. And that's being hosted by you and myself. That one came up because a lot of people felt like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to flirt. I don't know how to engage with people. And again, we as humans, if we don't have the ability to practice or engage, we're just not going to do it. And if we don't do it, we don't get better at it. And flirting is one of those beautiful ways to kind of engage with people in a non-sexual manner that kind of gives you a little and
confidence booster, and it feels good.
It's a confidence booster, and also it helps you in a certain skill set of communicating your needs and desires. So it allows you, before you engage with someone sexually, to be like, I want this, or I don't want this, or like, ooh, what you gonna do to me? Or okay, you want to get out, and what we gonna do when we go out then, since you talking big money? So it allows you the ability to kind of navigate boundaries before you ever engage with someone past a certain point. And I wanted people to have the opportunity to practice that skill set in a non pressure zone. So everybody come out. Jerry's going to give some tips and tricks, because if you don't know, Jerry is the best flirt ever. And I love flirting with Jerry. Jerry and I never are going to engage in any type of manner, but it's a witty banter.
I know that, Cory.
Anyway, I have my boundaries with coworkers, but I love the witty banter because it keeps me on my toes, and it allows me to engage in a way of okay, that was cute and fun over here. Let me try that over here with somebody I really want to engage with. And again, when we think about HIV prevention again, and we practice what we say to clients, and we practice over and over and over, the more you say it, the more you get comfortable. And I want people to get comfortable with flirting. Yeah. And then Tuesday, well, you want to say anything about Flirtology before we move on to Tuesday?
No, I think you did a great job. I love it when women speak their mind and tell me what's happening.
You flirting right now.
I don't know what this class is going to be like tomorrow, but we're just going to do it. We're going to go for it. It's actually going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about this. So, which is so funny because I feel like I flirt very naturally because it's just, but it's so much fun. I get a lot of joy out of it, and there's so many ways that I think it's a great way to establish connection with people And like just to, I'm like, honestly, I do it just to kind of like get smiles and because I enjoy the energy exchange. And like sometimes it leads to, other things. Sometimes it could just lead to like a friendship, it could lead to like, other stuff. It doesn't always lead to like a bedroom. Honestly, most of the time that I'm flirting with someone, there's no intention of anything happening. It's just
that's why I called it the art of playful connection, because it's play.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity for non-sexual pleasure, which is that playful connection. Like you're saying, it's the, okay, this feels good to me, and I make someone else feel good, but doesn't mean we're going to go jump in the bedroom.
I mean, that's all you need. Like, I think like a lot of times all people need is to people just want to feel good. They want to feel desired. And like, I think flirting is a way to make other people feel desired and feel attractive. And often I think when you push that energy out into the world, you often feel it yourself. So yeah, I'm really glad to talk about this tomorrow. And yeah, Tuesday. What we got Tuesday coming up?
Tuesday, we have Tuesday Tie Up. So that is for people who are into rope and shibari. We have a community educator who's going to come out. He's keeping his name on the profile because he is a public person. And sometimes in kink communities, people judge. And so we understand that that's a big stigma. And so that's another thing while we're doing Pleasure Mashup. We're trying to bring kink out of the dark and into the daytime. Even though it's nighttime hours, it's not past 10 p.m. We want to allow this person, he's going to come in. People is BYOR, which is bring your own rope. So it is the opportunity to get rope 101. So a very basic, what is shibari, what is rope, what is hog tying, what are different types of bondages you can do with rope. And then it's going to be a community tie section. So people who want to perfect their skills, that's another thing. Oftentimes people don't get other people to practice with. They practice on pillows or they practice on mannequin bodies. But practicing on a mannequin is very different than practicing on a person. So it's a communal tie session where people can come and engage and practice rope with each other. And that person who's our community leader will monitor and be able to say, this is safe, this is not safe. How about you move the rope a little bit to the left here, a little bit to the right here, because you might hit somebody's arteries. These are the type of things, again, we want to keep people safe, but allow them the ability to explore new things with real bodies.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's like kind of, I'm not opposed to be tying up. That sounds like it could be hot, but I definitely would want somebody who knew what they were doing to be tying.
I would say I'm not a rope girly. My ADHD ain't gonna let me, because it takes 40 minutes just to get the rope on the body before you do the things, and I'm gonna be gone. But for the other people, I wanted to ensure that the people who are into rope have the ability to learn and practice communally.
It's like one of those things. I have like this thing of, and I'm saying that I'm probably being totally theoretical because the type of hoe that I am, I'll try anything twice. Because the first time,
3 times. Give it 3
times. Okay.
First time because there's like the icks and bumps and nuances. Second time you're kind of getting comfortable, and third time you're like, yes, no, I know for sure I'm into this or not.
That's very fair. That's very fair. I think more people should take that approach with most things.
That's
all right,
third time's a charm, or it's not.
Third time, 3 times. Try it out. It may just be the person who was doing it with you. May not be the thing.
Exactly, and that's something you find out by the third time. It's like, okay, I like this sensation, but I don't like the person.
Yeah. No, I feel that. So Wednesday, we have our Fat Central workshop.
Yes. Now that one I'm really excited about. So that one's being taught by Deliciously Perverted, Miss K.
Yes.
She is my mentor, and she used to work at the Mark. So those who know about CPI at the Mark, is one of Nashville's biggest kink clubs. And so she started there. She worked there for a long time. And then she's the dungeon director at the Sex Down South conference. Again, one of my biggest mentors. And she noticed that there was a huge gap in kink for fat bodies. And the reality is that people are attracted to fat bodies. People want to engage with fat bodies, but they don't know how to respect fat bodies. And then for those people who are in fat bodies, there might be shame and stigma of being a fat body. So through her workshop, she goes through the different various things that you can do with fat bodies, how we can honor the fat body, we can entice the sensuality of the fat body and respect the fat body, so that every juicy lump, bump, and roll is worshipped and honored. And the people that are engaging with the fat bodies are making sure that they're not perpetuating fat phobia or body positivity, because we've learned that body positivity is actually toxic, and body neutrality is the thing that we should look for. And so this is a space for fat bodies to come and feel honored, to feel worshiped, as well as like those who want to learn to worship fat bodies.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, so this is for not only people who may inhabit fat bodies, but for those who love people in fat bodies, which I think is beautiful. And so can you break down or just explain a little bit real quick, like what's the difference between body positivity and body neutrality?
Yeah, body positivity kind of took it kind of became a buzzword when people are like, "Oh, we're not fat phobic. We support all bodies. We're body positive." But then it still reinforced like diet culture or a perfect example. I love Cardi B, but I found out recently that she was like, "All you fat bitches bought up all my clothes. Y'all need to lose weight." Da da da. So that was an opportunity. Like she was body positive by having plus size clothing, but it's still toxic because instead of saying, "Oh, these are the people buying my clothes, let me put more product in the 3 and 4 X's," she shamed those people. Whereas body neutrality is realizing that everybody has a body and that everybody deserves to be accepted and have space. So how do we allow all bodies the ability to come and be present? And so body positivity is like, I support you, I make space for you, but it doesn't necessarily mean I respect you. Whereas body neutrality is respecting all bodies, and that's even the abled body and the disabled body. So it includes all bodies.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. That's important. So Thursday, it's really fun. We have the hot seat with hot cocoa. And then we have sex trivia, come correct. Yeah, this is a double header night, and like it gets real spicy near the end of the week because we got two things back to back on both nights at the end of the week. So hot seat with hot cocoa. I love hot cocoa, by the way. I'm sad she couldn't join us right now, but she's going to be teaching. What is it? The sexual movement class? Is that right?
Yeah, so it's a movement body class. So Hot Coco is one of Nashville's like top burlesque dancers. She travels all over the U.S., but I'm really honored and grateful that she's taken the time out to volunteer her time for the Pleasure Mashup, because she also understands how moving your body in a sensual manner and finding ways to navigate your body enhances your pleasure as well. So it's kind of like what we were talking about with flirtology, is that confidence boost. And so, I mean, who don't feel sexy when you got a little 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and you know how to hit it on beat, and you look confident in what you're doing. So really what the hot seat does is put you in the hot seat to allow you to build that confidence for yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for Hot Coco, one of our burlesque dancers, to do that. And then Come Correct, that one's going to be hosted by me. So we decided, how can we bring sex ed trivia and make it fun? And so I'm doing BDSM sex ed trivia. So it will be a night where we have a bottom who is into impact play, but every time we do Come Correct, it's going to be a different theme. So this time it's impact play. So there will be 3 players who can come and volunteer to be contestants. And 69 Shades of Play is going to be donating sex toys to give as a prize for in kind. And so You will be asked certain questions related to BDSM and impact. If you get a point correct, then that's 1 point for you. And you get to practice your technique on the impact bottom. And our impact bottom will rate you based on your technique, scored of 1 to 5. So every additional point you get based on answering the question correctly and your technique used will gain whether or not you're first place, second place, or third place. And I've already talked to our bottom. She's really excited about this opportunity, figuring out her outfit and prepping her butt. And we've even thought about how do we deal with aftercare. So that's going to be a part of the questionnaire as well. And like, who can perform aftercare, because oftentimes people are like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go in, whoop ass, flog, I'm gonna flog, I'm gonna paddle, I'm gonna do all these things, but then aftercare is forgotten. The ice packs, the oils, the massage, how do you take care of your bottom, which is also going to be a part of the question and a part of the rating scale. So not only will you get the opportunity to practice technique on a real person in real time with a guided instructor, you also get to gain knowledge around sexual health education. And we hope a lot of people come so that they can kind of be the crowd, like Family Feud. And then when they don't know the questions, y'all can whisper it and yell it back and forth, help the teammates out. Because I want this to be really fun and engaging.
Look, I was telling people about it last night, and people seem to be very interested in it. There was a couple of people who was like, yeah, I want to come and, practice impact play, and, which is, also
come correct.
They better come correct. If you consider yourself a dom top, you can get like some real feedback on your topping or your impact play. Now we're
all over the place.
I'm just gonna leave that there. All right, so
and that's the difference between kink community and queer community, because topping is two different things.
It's two different things. Like when I realized that y'all was like calling each like a top and a bottom, I was just like, what? I was like, what? Like, no, it's two different things. You could be a person who does like penetrative. You could be the one who's penetrator, but you could be acting as a bottom in like an impact play scene. But yeah, this is very interesting.
But it could translate the same, because top is someone who is giving a sensation and the bottom is the person receiving a sensation.
Right. That's basically it. Yeah.
There's a crossover.
Yeah, it's a crossover. It's cute. Different words. Okay. So what's happening Friday night? I'm actually really excited about Friday night too. I'm excited about the entire week. But
Friday night is going to be my favorite, honestly. Friday night, so we've actually swapped. So we heard from the community, and that's the other thing about the Pleasure Mashup. This is supposed to be for us, by us. So when I hear people say, oh, I really want to come, or I wish I could be there, but I'm like, tell me the but, because I'm planning this based off of what I think would work, but I want this to be for us in our community, so I need to be able to hear from the community. And so the community was giving feedback about they really didn't want to miss the show, which is the Pleasure Drip. So we swapped the film for the Pleasure Drip. And so what we're going to be watching film wise is the Debauchery ball. Now that one, I'm excited. I pre-watched it, and it talks about Chicago's queer night scene by this poet who decided he wanted to celebrate his birthday, and he created the Debauchery ball as a tribute to his birthday, that then 12 years later turned in this huge community culture around Black sexual positivity, and it was all rooted in house music. So the documentary talks about the intersections of house music, queer culture, as well as kink culture. And not to spoil the movie, but there was one really good section where they talked about protecting the space. And what does it mean to protect the space and only invite certain people into these spaces? So to ensure that people feel comfortable with their titties out or dick swinging while they dance into house music, to ensure that people feel safe to walk down the street and come to this place and not fear for themselves or their identity or their gender, and really cultivating a culture of community care and liberation. And so that's the Debauchery ball, and you'll hear from them in the film. And then afterwards, we have the Pleasure Drip. Now, this one is a 9-star studded show where we reached out to different folks all over Nashville. We got people even coming from Knoxville, Tennessee. We
Wow.
got assigned female at birth, assigned male at birth, non-binary, queer. We got drag. We got all kinds of representation for this show, and it is going to be 100% kink. So this will be a kink performance where we will have strippers on the pole. We will have people slanging straps, people doing possibly a squirt water scene. I'm not sure. I'm still going through the tech forms, but it is going to be a full night of just sexual liberation, body acceptance, love, and kink liberation in a performance.
I'm excited about this squirt scene. I just, just right.
I'm excited too. So I can't wait to see the artists actually bring it to life, because that's one of the beautiful things about being the producer and behind the scenes. And that's the other thing. Hot Cocoa is producing all of this. So Hot Cocoa, who's doing the hot seat on Thursday, is actually orchestrating and organizing the Pleasure Drip, which she's curating. And she picked these people to come in because she was like, these are the people that I know will bring the drip.
Yay. I also got to add one of the performers to myself, so I was excited that
Yes, I'm so excited by your addition. We were worried that we weren't going to have enough artists, and I reached out to Jerry, and Jerry was like, you know what, I actually know somebody. And I reached out to them, and last minute they were like, absolutely yes. And so I'm grateful for their yes. I'm grateful for their willingness. And then when they just went down the list of all the things they want to do, I said, absolutely, we need you. And so I'm grateful that they're coming. And we're also going to have like some cash on hand, because you got a tip.
Yeah,
so you
bring
will have
$dollars.
on site. Yep, we'll have cash on site. You can cash app myself, or you can cash app Venmo Hot Cocoa. We'll give you your dollar bills, and we can make sure that the dancers leave in full pleasure, knowing that y'all enjoyed all the efforts they put on the stage for you.
Amen. I'm so excited. So just want to tell you all again, we're like so excited. We have, as you can see, we have like so much stuff planned this week. It's going to be an amazing show. So Cory, can we actually tell people where like this is happening? I know we weren't able to put it on the flyer, but like, can you like?
Yes, we're gonna be in West Nashville. It's the address. Let me actually look it up, because let me not say the building name. So the thing about doing these kink events is that, I respect it. People are worried about community reputation, as well as like what people will say, because it's highly stigmatized. But we will be at, because I don't have it committed to memory, 4003 Indiana Avenue. So that will be where we are. So 4003 Indiana Avenue will be the site location for the evening, and that's where the whole Pleasure Mashup will take up for the week. So for those of y'all who have already bought week-long passes, thank you. We appreciate you, because again, this is 100% donations to Mashup, which is the org that's sponsoring this, because we want to make sure that certain organizations continue to thrive and exist in these times. And I think it's important we put our money into the communities that support us back. And so grateful to those people who bought a Pleasure week-long excursion with us. And so we will see you at 4003 Indiana Avenue in West Nashville starting on Monday.
So this is, if you all, just to kind of give you some context for where this is in West Nashville. If you like, it's like Charlotte and 40th Avenue, like near where the 5 Points Pizza is on Charlotte. So you make a right on 40th Avenue and take it around like 3 or 4 blocks. You'll see the building right on the corner of 40th and Indiana. It's a little small white building. It's very cute. You'll see the Mashup signage right there. It's across the street from some apartments, but we'll be there all week. and it's going to be a lot of fun. Please go online, buy your tickets. You can buy your tickets on eventbrite.com. If you look up Pleasure Mashup, you can find it there. Or you can go on our website at www.mashupnation.org, and you can find tickets to all of the shows on the week. Or you could just buy the $50 pass for the entire week. You know, even if you don't plan on coming, you're not sure if you want to make it to all the shows, do the $50 pass. For one thing, it supports the organization, help us put more programming like this on. We put a lot of time and effort into this, and a lot of people has been like there. Like a lot of people put like a lot of volunteer hours, and like a lot of intention behind this. So, you know, we're just super excited to like put this on. We just want community to come out. And every donation, everything helps us continue to have programming like this. So, Cory, thank you so much for your time today, love.
Yeah.
I hope that you feel proud and excited about bringing this vision to life. And yeah, we're gonna get it. It's gonna be good.
Yes, I'm excited. I really am. I'm looking forward to seeing the community. I'm looking forward to people engaging, because even our last Pleasure Mashup, it was small. However, the conversations that came from it were so impactful that it really helped a lot of people shift their perspectives of pleasure as well as sexuality. And at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help people shift and broaden their viewpoints of pleasure and sexuality so that they can live more pleasurable lives.
Yeah. Oh, and real quick, because I know I keep on getting questions about this. Who's allowed to come to this? Like, because I know like sometimes like people ask me like, what's the age limit? Or, you know, like, am I like, there's like some of our less melanated brothers and sisters that don't want like to attend. Like, are they welcome to come?
Yeah, so this is 18 and up. So we need to make sure it's 18 and up because we are in a red state. So it's 18 and up for the week. And then also our less melanated kinfolk can definitely come out, but just as long as they honor and respect that these classes will be taught through the lens of Black queer feminism. And so there is the lens of that we are centralizing a certain demographic first, and then everybody else benefits from that. So as long as you are okay with that, come, be support, get the education, be an ally, because I mean, this is education everybody needs. It's not a straight thing, a queer thing, a white thing, a Black thing. At the end of the day, we're trying to reduce harm in sexual spaces, and by providing you more pleasurable options to do in your bedroom.
Yeah, I love that. Or, you know, outside the bedroom, wherever you like to receive
Wherever
pleasure.
you like to engage, we don't kink shame.
We don't kink shame, you know.
We listen and we don't judge.
Yes. All right, Cory, thank you so much. We love you. Thank you for taking your time out on like Sunday to do this. And we'll see you this week.
See y'all this week. Thank you.
All right.